refrain from being around people with COVID-19 because you catch it over again. It doesn't just you know make COVID-19 disappear. You're still exposed to the same dangers. So now, affording the pill at Amazon is going to be a factor. So I also implemented that Paxlovid be affordable based on issuing stimulus checks or some form of stimulus payments that would suggest that you would have money for Paxlovid pill on Amazon. So somewhere along detecting it and being exposed to COVID-19. That was my suggestion. But what happened was my suggestion wasn't acknowledged. It was never agreed. It was never agreed that my process being implemented at Amazon be made formal. It was never accepted into the mainstream. So now, with that said, these situations that are occurring along the way, where countries are being invaded and accountability is escalating because a lot of people are dying. Wherever there's a lot of people dying, it has to be accountability all the time. People practicing safety so people don't die. Nobody's practicing safety so people can die anyway. So whenever people die like that in large numbers and inconsistent with practicing safety, it has to be accounted for. So when they go into trial today in Russia for detaining American citizen, they go into court to establish. They go into court to establish whether they have reason to detain. See, under the normal eye, you see the person carrying some form of narcotic across the state lines or the country boundaries of Russia. Under the normal eye. But when you look at the situation, they polarizing a situation based on having an option to detain somebody from the United States in their situation and ignore what their actions are blowing up another country. You blow up another country, you capable of setting up somebody and you're capable of doing it. Not saying that's what happened, but you're capable of doing things that show up in the public's eye that are misleading and not consistent with the law. When you have the capability of doing that, it's supposed to be a trial for that. It's not supposed to be a trial for American citizen. Just a traveler, a tourist. You don't grab no tourist and then have a hearing based on what the tourist is doing when you're blowing up countries. You blowing up countries talking about this tourist is doing something illegal. You're doing that so America won't be on you. That's what you're doing. You're just creating a smoke screen. No doubt about that. It's an obvious smoke screen situation when you just grab America like that and based on blowing up another country, not being in its proper context, not being accounted for within the utmost of the law. You have to be accounted for your actions there. You You don't grab the United States right after you blow up another country, saying we seen what you did. Nah, you need to grab yourself and uh and hold yourself accountable for the deaths of Americans and people from from different ethnic backgrounds alike. I don't know how many black people that died in that situation, but it's certainly a factor. You wouldn't ignore the amount of black people dying in that particular situation where entire country was invaded. You wouldn't ignore it. It has to be accounted for. So when you grab somebody like that, saying, well, we want this person to have a hearing after you broke the law and blowing up a country, people don't just blow up countries. People don't just blow up countries. If I got mad one day, I wouldn't just be blowing up a country. You would have to come to some type of logical conclusion. If things worked that way, then there would be no order. There would be no order. It would be complete chaos. Everybody be trying to blow up different countries. So the accountability of that being consistent has to be accounted for. You can't just blow up countries and won't stop. Won't stop blowing up the countries. I see if you got mad one day and blew up the country and it was the end of it, continuing to do the same thing every single day. Not rendering judgment on the situation, just saying when you grab the United States for any reason, warning them not to intervene with the process that you created, you have to be accountable for your actions ultimately. It's no way you're gonna continue this behavior. If this spreads, you may be causing a situation that shouldn't be that should be addressed now, because you're inflaming all these other situations that are directly linked to your situation. You're gonna have to have a hearing for your situation, and not a tourist traveling to or from your country. That sounds so practical to have a hearing for the tourists as opposed to what you're actually doing in another country, blowing it up. You blowing up a country saying this tourist needs to have a hearing because we believe the person committed a crime. Nah, you committed a crime before you're not committing a crime. I'm not going to say it's a crime before you're finding of guilt, but it's a crime if people are getting blown up and dying and you're not accountable for your actions. That's a crime. But you certainly have to be found guilty. You certainly have to be, have to have a hearing the way you suggesting the tourist is having a hearing. But it may not equate. If you kill enough people, then you demanding to go to court. It may not equate in every situation. It's different international law that would suggest that you would have to deal with that situation the same way you would if somebody had a gun and you had a gun and you tried to kill the person. Naturally, the person gonna kill you first. So the laws aren't in the same place once you kill enough people, and you depending on the law to be in the same place as if you was in a street fight, and somebody got killed and the other person didn't get killed, or whatever the case. You would depend on the situation to be what it is. But when you're doing what you're doing, you automatically grabbing the United States, talking about don't get in it, don't do this, don't do that. But you're blowing up another country every single day. That's getting kind of crazy. It's getting kind of old, actually. It's getting kind of old. You're blowing up another country every day and warning that nobody gets in it. So you can continue on with your bombing. And then you got this one little situation where the person was entering your country or leaving your country, and you're gonna accuse them of some type of practical crime. A practical crime, and to the extent of it not being as serious as killing as many people as that's been killed in that situation. You're accusing that person of committing a crime, and the person is just traveling. You appear to be committing crimes where you're not just traveling, you're blowing up people. You're blowing up another country. So that's crazy for America to be under that level of scrutiny, when the flip side is you blowing up another country. That's all. That's what the focal point should be. Cross-examining what your actions are. Are you committing a crime? That's what the focal point should be. United States Fire and Rescue by $1.50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 14th.